on Sirius XM College Sports Radio.
You know, I'm excited about this trap.
From the best analysis to the top prospects.
Touchdown, Caleb Williams. Touchdown, USC.
And the coaches who coach them.
Ryan Day, head coach of Ohio State.
There's always urgency at Ohio State and in Columbus and the Buckeye Nation.
We've got you covered before, during, and after the NFL Draft in Detroit. It's all on Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84, and the all-new Sirius XM app.
NBA Game Night, and we're getting you ready for tip-off on NBA Radio.
They're 1.5 underdogs on the road. We're seeing the Suns as 12-point favorites at home. They've cooled off considerably, but I still feel like they're the team getting the most open shots.
We'll tell you all you need to know on who's starting, who's sitting, and where the action is.
That is exactly why I am on the San Antonio Spurs. I played them at -4, 4-point favorites earlier today. Like we said, that line is now ticked up to 4.5.
This is the RotoWire NBA Show.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
This team never stops.
Hear your hometown announcers on the all-new Sirius XM app.
They celebrate at home plate.
And talk baseball every day with our team of former players and executives on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89.
There's just something magical about baseball.
To listen to MLB Network Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or head to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's it. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's it.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018148688.
Grando Deportes, Bonjour, Vidi Vidi Vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. On a beautiful April the 23rd, 2024, today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard in the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit ya where the good Lord splits you. As well as driving a fleet of Cadillac cars all across the universe. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my, won't you be my, won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Is this the man who wrecked the neighborhood at the Herald Club this morning? I'm trying to blend in some Eddie Murphy, some Beverly Hills Cop with my show. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Is this the man who wrecked the buffet at the Herald Club neighborhood? You must be the pride of California. Give that some praise. I'm trying to add different openings to Big C Sports Podcast. I want to say I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects. based on the platform provided by the agents. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I know I could use more laughter. And then, as I tell you, the commercials are done. The stats are provided. The storytelling. I even do the play-by-play. LeBron James for 3. Yes! Not so fast, my friend. Jamal Murray for 2. Yes! He got a big shot over the great Anthony Davis, who said he's the best defender in the league. But Murray didn't read that article, if that makes sense to you. The Mile High sitting. I heard of the Mile High Club, but they don't show that on TV. What you can see on TV is the Mile High City, and that's Denver, Colorado. What a game! The Denver Nuggets. They took the Lakers, and they took them right down to the final second. And that's what basketball is all about. NBA basketball is super fantastic. I want to say what I say when I Midnight Strike. Super fantastic. Man, you know how the people in LA are feeling today. They have to feel like, oh my God, what happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. Denver's a good basketball team. They're a very good basketball team, and they're the defending NBA champions. No matter what anybody thinks, this is a basketball team that won it all last year. And for people who say, oh, they just got lucky because the referees, they let them off the hook. The Bears are who we thought they were. Oh, that's football, Big C. The Nuggets are who we thought they were. These are not your ordinary chicken nuggets. These are Denver Nuggets, and they sure play good. And someone wants to tell those good old boys, Nikola Jokic, his brother, they need to put some security on those guys, because I hear they're trying to rough people up. And you're not supposed to rough people up in the United States, if that makes sense to you. We're the land of the free, the home of the brave. But I want to say that game last night with Denver and LA, I did say that young legs tend to last a lot longer than older legs. Anytime you cross 40, then you don't have the same testosterone. And when you cross 40, you don't have the same whatever it is in that back nine where they kick in the afterburner like lightning. You want to get a chicken nugget that tastes good? Well, these chicken nuggets, you can't eat these chicken nuggets, if that makes sense to you, unless you're part of the Mile High Club, but they don't show that part on TV. All fair and love and war. And then I tell you, the show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City, and I'm in Denver Hills, California. And then not only that, it goes out to 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I want to tell you what I do with Big C Sports Podcast, because I love it. I love it like I love chicken nuggets, until I realize, what part of the chicken do you get the nuggets? Seriously, I've seen and eaten my share of chicken. Praise God for chickens. But I've never seen a chicken nugget. I mean, I've eaten the breast of a chicken. I love breast. I've eaten the backside of a chicken. I love the backside. I've eaten the wings of a chicken. I love wings. I've even eaten the legs of a chicken, and I love me some chicken legs. But I've never seen the chicken nugget. Like, what part of the chicken has a chicken nugget? And when I realized there is no such thing as a chicken nugget, what they do is they bread up pieces of chicken that came off the wing or the backside or the breast or the thigh, and they bread it all together, and then they put some type of flour around it, and then they deep fry it, and they call that the chicken nugget. Which came first, the chicken nugget or the egg? For sure, I know the egg came first, because chicken nuggets come from chickens. That one I'm so sure of. There's no wondering if that came first, the chicken nugget or the egg. But last night, that's what NBA basketball is all about. I'm telling you, if you watch that game, the Lakers blew a 20-point lead. Anthony Davis, he had dropped 32 points in 3 quarters of basketball. They only got him 1 shot in the 4th. Oh, 800 gambler. I'm not saying it's 800 gambler. I'm saying, if you got a man that's averaging 10 points a quarter, he had 32 points in the 3rd quarter. They couldn't stop him. Even Reggie Miller was saying he's in his groove. He's in his groove. If he's in his groove, then why do they stop going to him in the 4th? 800 gambler. Oh, Nixie, I don't believe in that. Let me ask you a question. Guys that play ball, whether you play ball or play with balls, if you got something good, you don't stop when it's good through 3 quarters. You want more in the fourth quarter. Every guy can attest. If you playing with balls and you are balling and you on a hot streak, they say you in the zone. If you in the zone, why would they say, well, we going to start the fourth quarter without this guy? 800 gambler. Oh, I don't believe in that, Big C. I just told you, I'm not saying that's what it was. But if you playing street ball, you playing high school ball, you playing college ball, you playing NBA ball, there's something called the hot hand. If a guy has a hot hand, you say, give him the ball. If you don't give the guy the hot hand, what do they say? May lightning strike. And that's what happened last night with the Lakers. So Coach Ham, he can blame the officials all they want. And yeah, there were some. D'Angelo Russell did get hit upside the head. They said, yeah, but we don't see any blood, so there's no foul. And he should have been able to go to the line. But when you look at NBA basketball, whether the New York Knicks, they came back and had a miraculous win at Madison Square Garden, or the LA Lakers, they blew a 30-point lead. Beg your pardon? 30 points, 20 points, big thing. No, in Denver, they've been up by 30 points. In the first game, they had a double-digit lead. Is that not true? Okay, you could have got the whole series. Yeah, it's true. Exactly. They had 30-point leads combined in the Mile High City. Not the Mile High Club, because they don't show that stuff on TV. But in the Mile High City, the Lakers had a 30-point cushion if you add games 1 and game 2. Why does that matter, Big C? It matters because I told you, and whether you believe it or not, the Lakers ran hard in the first 3 quarters. And they have a formula to winning this series. But they just said, wait a minute, Anthony Davis, he has 32 points at the end of 3 quarters. I have a great game plan. Don't give him the ball. There's a commercial that Charles Barkley had, and he's in a commercial with some young kids, maybe some 5-year-old kids, and he's looking at all of them, and he says, I have a plan. Give me the ball every freaking time. You know, the kids did give him the ball every freaking time, and he didn't even have 32 points. I know the Lakers are the greatest organization in the history of the NBA basketball. You got guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Irvin Magic Johnson. You got guys like, in my opinion, the great late Kobe Bryant. You got the great Shaquille O'Neal. You got Byron Scott, James Worthing, Wilt Chamberlain. You imagine if Wilt Chamberlain had 32 points in the third quarter, and you got 1 quarter to go? You imagine the coach saying, you see that guy that's got 32 points in the third quarter? Yeah, we see him. What about him? Don't give him the ball. What? It had nothing to do with the officials. I'm not blaming anybody. It's a make and miss league, and Denver, they won that game because those young legs, they ran down. I heard an old man tell me a joke. My grandparents, they would sometimes not know that the young boys were listening. And there was one guy that came by. It was a pastor after the church. They come by and get my great granddaddy's moonshine. And he said, hey, I got a joke to tell you. It's a pastor, so it's a clean joke. He said, there were some bulls. They were up on the hill, and they saw some other cows on the bottom of the hill. So the young bull said, hey, look at all those cows on the bottom of the hill. Let's run down there and blow. Oh! If that makes sense to you. And the old bull said, wait. Instead of running, let's walk down the hill and blow off. If that makes sense to you. And that's what Denver did last night. They saw there's some young men, and they saw some Lakers down at the bottom of the hill, and they said let's run down there and come on. But then some of the older bulls said let's walk down there, let's walk down there and blow them all. If that makes sense to you. There's some old pastors telling jokes, if that makes sense to you. I don't understand what their joke was about, but some old bulls, they understand. And the Lakers, they're a little bit older. They're a great team, and as much as I love watching them play, this is why they should have been talking about reparations. You look at how many of these people were chatting, Jamal Authority, yes! The game-winning shot, a fall-away jumper. He falls into the sidelines, and Anthony Davis falls on top of him. At the same time, imagine if they put that same energy into reparations and talking to our lawmakers. Think about that. You think you're happy watching some guy play with the balls? Imagine how happy you're going to be when they say reparations happens. So LeBron James had the ball in his hand. Great game. And he was right down at the three-point line, right around the three-point circle. And then the defender fell down. I think it was Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He fell down. There was 12 seconds on the clock. And the game was tied at 99. As big and strong as LeBron James is, he had just had a steal on Murray and a runaway dunk. You can't stop him at 6'9", 6'8", whatever he is, about 280 pounds. The defender fell down on the ground, on the floor, and LeBron James, he could have been like the bull that my great-granddaddy, they told those jokes when the young bull said, hey, there's some cows at the bottom of the hill. Let's run down there and knock one of them. And the old bull said, well, wait a minute, freeze. How about let's walk down the hill and knock them off? LeBron James refused to walk down the hill. He could have driven the basket. His defender was laying on the floor. And I think LeBron James, as great as he is, I think 5 years ago he would have taken that ball to the basket. But he pulled back for a three. And because he missed it, whenever you shoot a three, who's anybody to insult LeBron? I'm not insulting LeBron James, I'm just saying. Basketball players know. When you shoot a three, you miss it, you rarely get the offensive rebound. When you 6'8", 280 pounds, your defender fell down, why not run to the basket like lightning? Because you had 12 seconds left, they're going to foul you. That means you're going to go to the free throw line, or you're going to get the dunk. Your defender is laying on his backside. Now, everyone wants to blame Coach Ham for not calling that timeout, but I blame Anthony Davis for not calling for the ball more. He had 32 points in 3 quarters. What would Kobe have said? Kobe would have said, give me the ball. May lightning strike! And there are times the late Kobe Bryant, he was, from what I hear, some people said they didn't like his attitude because he was too demanding. He was too demanding, and he wanted to take every shot! At the same time, if you Anthony Davis, or a guy like Michael Jordan, or Shaquille O'Neal, or Magic Johnson, the difference with the Lakers now and with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was playing back in the day, if Kareem had 32 points at the end of the third quarter with the sky hook and all that, you better believe they would have said, wait a minute, we got to get this guy at least another 10 shots in the fourth period. Why would we give him 10 more shots, coach? Because he's got 32 and 3. Don't blame the officials that the Lakers and Anthony Davis refused to say, give me the ball. Give me the ball! If you had them calling for the ball, you can't tell me they wouldn't have given it to him. LeBron James and Anthony Davis had that pick and roll. And Denver's like, oh my God, we didn't have to do anything. They're not giving the guy that dropped 32 points in 3 quarters the ball! Denver loved that. And so the Lakers started settling for pull-up threes as opposed to Anthony Davis, who was unstoppable in the paint. Even Reggie Miller was saying he's in his groove. And the Lakers decided to say, well, let's sit him on the sideline to start the fourth. Maybe they wanted to get him some rest, let him get his legs under him again. But at the same time, why did he only get 1 shot in the fourth? Now, I'm not a Laker fan or a Denver fan. In fact, I love my favorite team is Golden State, but I like all the teams. I just want to see good games. But if Steph Curry in his prime, or Kevin Durant in his prime, or Magic Johnson in his prime, or Michael Jordan in his prime, or Shaquille O'Neal in his prime, or the late Kobe Bryant in his prime, or Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon in his prime, or Tim Duncan in his prime, or Larry Bird in his prime, or Wilt Chamberlain in his prime. If they had 32 points at the end of 3, don't you think they draw some plays up to get him the ball, at least get him 10 more shots? Because had he added on what he was doing, he was averaging 10 points every period. That would have given him, he finished with 32 in the game. That would have put him, he was on pace for 40 points, 42 points. And they lost by a jump shot with no time left. Over Davis. That's why the Lakers lost that game. But Denver, you got to give Denver credit. In that crowd was Jamal Murray. Yes! He hit the winning shot as time expired, and the Nuggets win! I mean, that was a basketball game. That was great. I love it. I love NBA basketball. The New York Knicks, they had a similar story, and they found a way to come back and win that game. So I'll get into that earlier. I just have to get into that because I've been listening to a lot of guys that talk about, I can't believe the Lakers lost that game. They had too many, the officials, they didn't call enough fouls. The Lakers shot 7 more free throws than Denver at Denver. But in 2 games, the Lakers have given up 30 points. They had 30-point cushion. If you can, they were up double digits in game 1, and they were up 20 points in game 2. Did they take their foot off the gas? Not necessarily. They stopped going to the guy that had 32 points. You know, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying, if you got a guy and he's a boxer, and let's say it's Muhammad Ali in his prime, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier. The late great Howard Cosell. I met the late great Howard Cosell. I was working at a Skycap at the airport, and he gave me a nice tip for 2 bags. But imagine if Ali he's just going to town on Frazier, and Frazier can't stop the right jab that Ali has, and he's knocking him down a couple times, and Frazier just can't get close to him. Why would you say, okay, Ali, now that we established the jab, now let's just start going with some uppercuts? And Frazier got to him and knocked him down. In fact, knocked him down and broke his jaw in Madison Square Garden. But I mean, whatever it was last night, people want to blame the officials. The officials are human too, but the officials didn't blow combined 30-point lead in Denver. That's the Lakers. They had something that was working, and they let them off the hook. The Nuggets are who we thought they are. You want to crowd them? Crowd them. The late Dennis Green. He was talking about the Bears. Big C. Okay, but same point. You get my point. But I'm just saying, that was one of the greatest basketball games I've seen in a long, long time, and I've seen a lot of great games. Well, that's my story, and I'm taking with it. Give that some praise. Give it praise. What a great basketball game that was last night. It even got me saying, man, NBA action is fantastic. What if they could do the same thing for reparations now? Reparations forever. That'd be great. Well, as I always say, I love paying homage to the Veterans Crisis Hotline because a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues, pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on, and the Nuggets were leaning on Jamal Murray last night. But at the same time, I got some leaning on to do too, because with the Big C team and the Big C Sports Podcast, I'm doing a commercial, and I do it live. I did a commercial back in the day for Oracle down in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, and they loved me. I was sent down there by ABC7 in San Francisco, and they had me have a couple of interviews over the phone, and they said they liked the way I sound over the phone. And so I went down there, drove down to Santa Clara, and I got inside, and I said, I'm here for my interview. And I said, are you Carlton? I said, yeah. So you have an interview? You're Carlton Curry, right? I said, yeah. They said, oh, well, hold on a second, and we'll get someone to talk to you. You know, they had me sit down there for 45 minutes. I figure if you want the job, you sit for 45 minutes. And they had some good old boys come out, and they were 2 Caucasian men. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying what it was. They were in polo pants and the green shirts. They had some polo shirts, green polo shirts, and some khaki pants, some tan khaki pants. And I remember they said, okay, well, you're Carlton? I said, Charlton. They said, okay, well, come on in the back and we'll have you do some readings. The same reading that I gave for them to have me come down there. And then the man looked at me and said, well, we wonder if you could do, if you could sound more street. I said, well, give me an example of what more street sounds like. And they said, well, could you sound more black? May lightning strike. I gotta tell you, I did not get the commercial. They wanted me to sound more street, and all I said, could you give me an example of what more street sounds like? I guess they couldn't do it, so I'm gonna do my own commercial, and I'm not gonna sound more street this time. I'm gonna say a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth, resource development consulting, in conjunction with the law office of Scott Thibodeau and attorney George Jones, the Missing Link Long-Term Care Solutions by the book, over 3 decades of experience helping seniors get their benefits, Medicare, and you taking care of tomorrow, Medi-Cal, and in California and other places it's called Medicaid. Your family and spouse can avoid the spend down for nursing home costs. Find out your options are promised to you, specialized to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits. I said it slow because some people say I talk too fast. Some people say I talk too slow. Specialized to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without a spend down. All paperwork and communications with all government agencies are handled by a staff of entitlement specialists, ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary, benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescription medication, medical equipment costs, and more. Do you know anyone dealing with skilled nursing facilities? Do you know anyone dealing with prescription drugs? Do you know anyone dealing with medical equipment costs and more? Protection of your assets, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family, avoiding the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program, which can be from 10 to 40% in one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. And not only that, protection insurance coverage required by law, general liability, workers' compensation, lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal planning for long-term care, avoid probate, life insurance, veterans benefits, aid and attendance, pre-planning, and avoid the look-back period, fixed assets, your bank account, your checking account, savings account. That's important. Money market, certificates of deposits, life insurance with cash values, fixed index annuities, variable assets, real estate, qualified money, IRA, 401k, other investments. Avoid capital gains. Let's say you buy a house for $100,000 and in 1 year it appreciates to $1 million. That's what some brokers are saying. That's why you should buy the house. That's a $900,000 appreciation called capital gains. In a trust, you avoid that over 3 decades of experience. Business owners, listen up. Find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. So what do I need? What I need a trust, Big C? What I need to do that? If you don't have a trust, you can have a will, but if you don't have a trust, you know the probate court has one. The probate court has one for you. If that makes sense to you, you got to have a trust. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. And when you do, you don't have to sound more street. Like the good old boys asked me, could you, sound more street? I said, well, give me an example of what more street sounds like. And the good old boy, never forget, he was a pale white dude. He said, well, could you sound more black? I said, give me an example of what more black sounds like. They said, well, we'll get back to you, sir. I'm telling you, I'm not even joking about that. But my commercial sounds a lot better than theirs. And you can see I did it without rehearsal. I did it on one take. I didn't do 29 takes like they had me do down at Oracle. And they wanted me to sound, more street, more black. I kid you not. these white guys said, can you sound more, could you, more black? And all I said was give me an example of what more black sounds like. Because over the phone, they like my diction. They like the way I enunciate my words. That's why ABC News 7 sent me down there. But I don't discriminate with the Big C team. Give that some praise. I try to give everybody the chance to do what I do with Big C Sports Podcast. And I love what I'm doing with Big C Sports Podcast. And not only that, when people say, well, why would we listen to you, Big C? There are a lot of people offering trust. I'm glad you asked. When anyone asks you to do business with them, one of the great things to ask is, do you have any references? References? What's a reference, Big C? You can Google it. Our references, we got them. What do they say? The cheerleaders say, we got spirit. Yes, we do. We got spirit. How about you? Well, I like to add on to that with the Big C, the RDC team. We've got references. Yes, we do. We've got references. How about you? I think I like that, and I didn't have to sound more street. We have the references, the endorsements of Mr. George Jones and Mr. Scott Thibodeau. Mr. George Jones is the chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, also the California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. Mr. Leon Woods, Resource Development Consulting, also works with some of the top lobbyists in California. Also, we have the endorsement of Miss Cheryl Brown. She's the chair of the California Commission on Aging. Mr. Ray De La Cruz, he's the CEO of Resource Development Consulting. Had the blessings and the endorsement of the late Robert Carlson, who was the top legal counsel for CalPERS, if that makes sense to you. Also, we have Mr. Alex De La Cruz. He's the founder of American Veteran Benefits. And we have Big C, the National Black Chamber, National Black Wall Street Project, a co-chair in Northern California. And that's important. Give that some praise. I love giving that praise. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. Before I get into some sports, I want to say I can't believe that Anthony Davis, he didn't get the chance to shoot more baskets in the four. He only shot one basket. Whose fault is it? It wasn't Denver's fault. They don't drop the plays for the Lakers. I'm not even blaming Coach Ham. I'm saying sometime the alpha male on the court, they call for the ball. Even if you're tired, both teams were tired. But the guy had 32 points in 3 quarters, and they had him shoot one more shot. All you got to do is find your spot, and they couldn't stop him. But that's the way love goes, the great Janet Jackson told us. I want to also thank the Associated Press, because when you think about what I say with Big C Sports Podcast, and those Gruder boys down at Oracle down in the Santa Clara a couple of years ago, when they come down to read a commercial for Oracle, they're the sponsor now for the Oracle Ballpark in San Francisco. They used to be the sponsor for the arena in Oakland with the Golden State Warriors, and now they have I believe just for the 49ers, not the 49ers, but the San Francisco Giants, because now Chase Center is where the Golden State Warriors play. But I want to thank the Associated Press for, oh my goodness, it just had an epiphany. And why did Oracle want Big C Sports to come down and do a reading for Oracle? Because they said they love my voice. They said that you have a great voice. They said that over the phone. But when I got there, I said, "This is Charlton. I'm here for the interview." They said, "Are you Carlton?" I said, "Yes, I'm here for my interview for Oracle." They said, "Oh, you're Carlton Curry?" I said, "Yes." They said, "Oh, okay. Well, let me. I'll be right there." They left me there for 45 minutes, and I don't know what they were saying. They were all white. I don't know what they were saying when they went to the back. I think someone's pulling a banana in the tailpipe. The guy on the phone that ABC sent down, he's in the lobby and he said he's Carlton. Okay, we'll send him in. But he's black. The guy on the phone that we talked to, that we called down here to give some money to for a commercial, you mean they tried to pull a banana in the tailpipe? I never heard them say that, but why else would they say, oh, you're the guy on the phone, you're Carlton? Yeah. And they wanted me to sound more black after I didn't sound more street. I don't do that on my show. We don't need no reparations. Everything's fair and square. long story short, Associated Press called me after they heard me speak at a Reparations rally. It was Janie Harr. Ring, ring. Hello, this is Charlton. Hi, is this Charlton Curry? Yes, this is Charlton. How can I help you? Hi, this is Janie Harr, the Associated Press. I said, how'd you get my number? She said, I heard you speak at a Reparations rally. I said, okay. Well, how can I help you? She said, well, I wanted to get your thoughts on reparations. I said, if you heard me speak, you know my thoughts. I believe in reparations now, reparations forever. You know, she wrote an article about it. I kid you not. It was March 30, 2023. It said Charlton Curry, the same guy that Oracle said, are you're Carlton? They respected somebody who didn't look like a beautiful, intelligent black man. Because over the phone, they thought, oh, here's another one of us. We don't need no affirmative action. But I guess they wanted someone who did not sound black. I guess I didn't sound black on the phone, so they gave me the opportunity to come down there and make a big paycheck. But when they found out that I was black, you know what they said? They said we get back to you. I'm just telling you, it really happened. And that's a shame because I want to do what I can to bring reparations to reality. Because those companies like Oracle, the ones that they wanted to hire me, that's why I drove from San Francisco. I was referred by ABC 10, the number 4 media market in the United States. And she wrote an article because she heard my voice. They had me come down there because they liked my voice. This is back in the early 2000s. And the Associated Press, she said she called me because she heard me speak. And she even wrote about it. It says Charlton Curry of Sacramento, California, who discusses reparations on his Big C Sports podcast, that cash payments are necessary and that money talks. Just like Anthony Davis was talking last night, he dropped 32 points in the third quarters. And they said, we don't need to give him no more shots. And then people complaining about fire Darman. You don't have to fire Darman, have you? Anthony Davis should have called for the ball. He should have demanded, give me the ball, guys. You know, they can't stop me. He should have done that, but he didn't do it. And great for Denver. That's my story, and I'm digging with it. Before I get into some NBA basketball, I love doing what I do with reparations because mine is a terrible thing to waste, and I always want to make sure I pay homage to it. And I want to say, oh my goodness, I'm the same Big C Sports podcast in the top 100, in fact, in the top 50 of over 251,000 podcasts around the world on iHeartRadio podcast. That's in the top 0.5%. And I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man. But Oracle, they wanted me to come down there and sound more street. They said, could you sound more black? These white boys said that to me. And all I said was, tell me what more street sounds like. Give me an example of what more street sounds like. And then give me an example of what more black sounds like. And they said, we'll have to get back to you. They didn't hire me. But my voice has carried me in a lot of doors, opened a lot of doors for me. From Super Bowls, NBA championships, NBA finals, World Series, United States track and field. And I'm saying that because it's so important. If I don't speak up, then maybe the next person, they would miss out on their opportunity. And that's why I love praising the California Reparations Task Force, because mine is a terrible thing to waste. And I'm going to make sure I get into that and give the praise to it. I want to thank the chair, Camila Moore. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Dr. Amos C. Brown, the vice chair. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. He's actually come on the Big C Sports podcast, and he didn't say could you sound more street. He didn't say what Oracle said to me back in the day. Could you sound more black? He didn't say that. He said you have a great show. That's why he came on to it. You think he would have come on the program if I was shucking and jiving? Not having my facts correct? Oh man, I can't wait to see the game. Woo! Did you see that game? He wouldn't waste his time on that stuff. I'm not knocking guys that do that. They do what they got to do. Because when somebody says, could you sound more black, then they go extra so they can get the job. I say create your own show. Make the white man sound more black. Could you sound more white? Could you imagine? Could you sound more country? Opie. And people say, oh, we don't need no affirmative action. Everything's fair. I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. How about you? But I'm telling you, I face discrimination. And I know the Reparations Task Force is there to help a lot of people who don't play touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. I love reparations. I want to thank Senator Stephen Bradford. Met with him several times. He's brilliant. I want to thank Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stepper. She's brilliant. Love giving her praise. I want to thank Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank Dr. Shell Grill. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Dr. Javon Scott Lewis. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank Attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. All of them part of the California Reparations Task Force. May lightning strike if we don't give them praise. That's important, guys. I love giving praise to Double O. She's the payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. She has her own economics and awareness talk show called Let's Eat. I love giving that praise on Access Sacramento. At the same time, she sent me Executive Order 13985. It was on President Biden, and they're talking about doing some things for communities of color, what they call African American communities. And I'm still waiting. Because in his first term in office, Executive Order 13985 on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's the White House. The White House. They didn't even talk about reparations. But they're saying to me, please donate to the Biden campaign. I get it from POTUS Trump 45. Please donate to the Trump campaign. If they're not talking about reparations, I'm going to find somebody who does. I think Dr. Cornel West, he's talking about reparations. Reparations now. Reparations forever. I just may have to vote for Cornel West. At least he's talking about uplifting people. Also, I want to thank Double O. She sent me this article from the United Nations. It says that strong political leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. That's important. I love giving her praise. Again, has her own economics and awareness talk show called Let's Eat on Access Sacramento. Give that some praise. I want to thank Brother Aleem Shabazz. He's the owner of Crescent Sports Media. He actually filmed the final meeting of the Reparations Task Force that was held at the Secretary of State building in California last year. I love giving them praise. Give praise. Give praise where praise is due. I'm going to give praise to Reverend Tony Pierce, President and CEO of National Black Wall Street Project. Well, I know as I talk about sports and politics, some people just want to light the beam. Light the beam. Light the beam is over. You know why? They don't light the beam anymore? Because Teddy Pendergrass had a song, and someone was playing it around the Golden One Center. They were saying, light the beam, light the beam, light the beam. And some brothers are playing Teddy Pendergrass, turn up the lights. He said, turn off the lights, and light a candle. You see, there's something I've been wanting to do to you, baby. And no one turned off the beam, and Teddy Pendergrass said, turn it off. And they turned it off. They turned it off. And now Big C Sports trying to turn it on for reparations. I gotta say that because it's important to me. I want to just get into some things that are going on with Big C Sports Podcast that I love talking about. Tonight's some NBA action. We have Phoenix, the number 6 seed in the West. They're at the Minnesota Timberwolves, the number 3 seed in the West. And right now, Minnesota leads that series 1-0. The game's already underway. And then we have Indiana. They're the number 6 seed in the East. They're at number 3 seed in the East. Milwaukee leads that series 1-0. And we'll see what happens tonight. Game already underway. And then the game that I want to see is tonight at 7 p.m. tip-off. The Dallas Mavericks, the number 5 seed, at the number 4 seed, LA Clippers. The Clippers lead that series 1-0. So we will see what happens with that. And that's my story. I'm taking with me like this. Strike! I love basketball. It's been amazing. And sometimes people think, oh, man, they have too many fouls. The officials. I blame the officials for not making the threes. I blame the officials for not going to a guy that had 32 points in 3 quarters. NBA playoffs, the Nuggets, they stunned the Lakers at the buzzer, and the Knicks rallied atop the 76ers. And that's what happened on Monday. And tonight, Big C won the 2024 Mega Millions for April 23rd. I saw the numbers. I saw my numbers in my dream. And then when I win it, and they give me the microphone, I'm gonna sound more black then. I can't believe it took me this long to win, God. The lightning strike. They want to see sound more black. Oracle told me that. I kid you not. Could you sound more street? I said, give me an example of what more street sounds like. More black. I kid you not. They said we'll have to get back to you. All I said was give me an example of what more black sounds like. Could you believe that? 2 white guys, Oracle. Last hired, first fired. 2024 NBA playoffs continued Monday night as a trio of Game 2, the final 2 of which came down to a great ending. The Knicks took a 2-0 lead over the 76ers at Madison Square Garden, and Joel Embiid said they're going to win the series. What is he on? They're not going to win that series, if that makes sense to you. But New York erased a 5-point deficit over the final 27 seconds. 27 seconds! May lightning strike! Down goes Frazier. It was Devontae DiVincenzo, a 3-pointer that sent Madison Square Garden crowd. What they say, Michael Jordan said the ceiling is the roof. But in the East, the Cavaliers jumped to a 2-0 series lead over the Orlando Magic in a lopsided victory. That series was shipped back to Orlando on Thursday. The night wrapped up in the West as the defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets won their 10th consecutive game against the LA Lakers. And Denver was swept the LA in the Western Conference. They swept LA, made lightning strike. I can't believe that the Lakers are looking at being swept for the second year in a row by the same team. That to me would be shocking because they don't know that you should get a guy the ball that has 32 points in 3 quarters and then let him off the hook. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. But the conference finals last year, Denver was dominant. They pulled away game 1 on Saturday. They were down double digits. Despite a combined 59 points from LeBron James and Anthony Davis, the Nuggets shocked the Lakers again on Monday when Jamal Murray hit a step-back buzzer beater over Anthony Davis, put the Denver on top of this game 2 at the end. Jamal Davis running to his right, guarded by Davis. LeBron, he took the ball, he had the basket, they won the game! He hit the shot, and the Denver Nuggets have won! Can you imagine that? The crowd was nuts. At the same time, Jamal Murray is that good a boy playing. He didn't even have a great game. He had a great finish. They said he has ice in his veins. I think he had a couple of Big C burgers before the game. What's the Big C burger? It's a burger with 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, and collard greens on a sesame seed bun. And it comes with a lot of exotic meats. What's all these exotic meats, Big C? Don't worry about what the meats are. Just eat them because you know they taste good. Anybody ever give you one of those great grandma hamburgers where she take 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles and onions, and some collard greens, and she would grill the buns. And you say, oh my God, Grandma, what do you put on this bun? She said, that's all these exotic meats. What kind of meat is it, great grandma? You just eat it, it tastes good. And everybody knows they didn't tell you what kind of meat it was, but we could taste. I think I taste some meatloaf. I think I taste some chicken. I think I even taste some steak. But she ground it all up, and she put it in some onions and garlic, and mixed it up with her hands, and she smashed that hand into the ground beef and put it in that skillet, and she cooked it up real good, and then she put a little mayonnaise on the buns and get that little caramelized. And then she had the ketchup and the mustard and the onions and the pickles and the cheese. And sometimes she even put a little bacon on it. You talk about, ooh, you're good? I said, great grandma, that must be the ooh, yeah burger. And what's the ooh, yeah burger, Big C? It's the ooh, yeah burger that tastes like lightning. Man, that's what Murray had. He had the ooh, yeah burger last night. He didn't have no chicken nuggets. But that good old boy played great. He was only 3 of 16 from the field through the first 3 quarters, and people just saying, keep shooting the ball. And he found a way to come down and hit that last shot. It was great. If you look at the New York Knicks, kind of a similar game. DiVincenzo goes down as the official hero as he's the one that hit the game winner for the New York Knicks. But 5 guys had to make a heroic play for New York to pull this thing up. And now the NBA said, yeah, there was a foul. Obviously, Maxey got fouled, but that's behind 800 Gambler. That's behind 800. Not behind 800 Gambler. They said there was a foul, but they're not going to go back and correct it. Now, first, the Knicks were down by 5. Down goes Frazier. They were down by 5 with 27 seconds to play. The great Jalen Brunson, who has shot an ice cold 16 for 55 through the first 2 games of the series, hit a 3-pointer that cut the lead to 2. And then on the ensuing inbound, the great Josh Hart, the second hero, he stole the ball from Tyrese Maxey and kicked it to DiVincenzo, who missed his first shot at a game winner. That ends New York's night, if not for Isaiah Hartenstein, the third hero, who came flying for the offensive rebound, and he shoved the ball to OG Anunoby, the fourth hero, who had the good sense and points to swing the ball right back to DiVincenzo, who wasn't going to miss twice. DiVincenzo for 3! Yes! You got to tell me, that game at Madison Square Garden last night, it was one for the ages. Only be outdone by the Denver Nuggets and the LA Lakers. Will the Lakers get one game in LA? Probably not. They lost 10 in a row to Denver because they have younger legs in Denver and they have older legs for the Lakers. It's hard to see LeBron James get swept out of his last 2 years in the playoffs unless they get a hot hand and decide to keep going to him. They'll get knocked out again. You got to know, you got to go to the hot man. Jalen Brunson's struggles continue. He had played in 458 career games, including the playoffs over his 6-year career, entering this series. And not once had he attempted more than 25 shots in a single game. Now he's done it twice. Not once, but twice, finishing 8 of 26 in Game 1 and 8 of 29 in Game 2. Do the math. That's 16 for 55 over 2 games, including 2 of 12 from 3. It's not an exaggeration to say it's the most inefficient 2-game stretch of his entire career. At the same time, shooting 27%, yet the Knicks are still up 2-0 on the 76ers team that's gotten 131 combined points from the great Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, who was fouled over the first 2 games. It's a testament to the grit of the New York Knicks, as hard as they play, and they play together as a unit, and you know these struggles are not going to last for Brunson, who's been one of the best players in the league all season. But then I gotta end it with this. The great Nikola Jokic, he got past LeBron James and Anthony Davis, because they didn't give Anthony Davis, who had 32 points through 3 quarters, they didn't give him the ball in the fourth. He only shot 1 shot. LeBron James, he dropped 26 points, had 12 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. And the Denver Nuggets, these are not your regular chicken nuggets. They're making their run back from a 20-point deficit and had down to 2 points. And LeBron James hit 2 clutch triples. LeBron James for 3! Yes! He was doing his thing. 2 clutch triples to give the Lakers some breathing room. And just as part of his 12-point fourth quarter, they forgot they had Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was even better. I got to tell you this because everybody has their own opinion about what you should do when you got a hot hand in the game. And it's just my opinion. You don't have to believe me, but you got to believe at some point in time, you got to believe your lying eyes. Anthony Davis was unstoppable. He had 32 points and 11 boards. At one point, he made 14 consecutive shots. 14! Including 5 jumpers. And he was dominant defensively. But it wasn't enough. They let him off the hook. You want to crown him? Crown him. Don't crown the Denver Nuggets just yet. They still got to go to L.A. Now, Davis only took 1 shot in the fourth quarter. What did Ice Cube say? You only get 1 shot. That wasn't Ice Cube. That was Eminem, Big C. Okay, but they still said the same thing. But Davis only took 1 shot in the fourth quarter when he went scoreless and had, in the end, Nikola Jokic, who was having a bad game for the most part. He had gotten the better of him with 27 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists, another triple-double. What did Ice Cube say? Messed around and got a triple-double. And then it came down to winning time. And Joker took Davis and everyone else to task. Davis got to keep his feet on the ground. You don't have to jump behind his back and try to block a shot. Just stand there and try to let him foul you offensively. Again, the guy was having a bad game. He wasn't scoring or assisting as Davis controlled the game, and he was getting so abused defensively that Denver coach Michael Malone, he switched him off of Davis onto Rui Hachimura, who in turn started to attack and score on the Joker. At the same time, just to flip the switch, ended with 26, 20, and 10. It's amazing. He's one of the best players in the NBA. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. In Denver, I say they're going to come out of the West unless they get clipped by the LA Clippers. And we'll see what happens because the Clippers have their own issues. And I won't get into it right now. But I don't think OKC has enough to knock off Denver. But again, it's a miss or make league. It's a miss or make game. But I want to finish with saying last night in Denver, a lot of media, they're calling for someone to be fired in LA. You don't have to fire anybody. Just find the players that can get into the paint like Davis was and let him play. But if you take the ball out of his hands, it's not the officials that told Davis don't shoot the ball. Whatever happened or did not happen, you can't blame the officials for that. That's not his fault. I'm going to say, as much as we love NBA basketball, imagine if we had the same passion for reparations now, reparations forever. I want you to hear something that's more important than who won the game.
And Martin Luther King spoke to this. Jim and Shane, this is clip number 4. Martin Luther King spoke to this sometime back in the early 60s. And I thought this was a really interesting quote. Here he is.
The problem. At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with. And this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
From his speech, The Two Nations of Black America. And it's absolutely brilliant. And the next time some white person talks about, well, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and my family did too, especially the Bundy boys. I mean, here's Martin Luther King, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., talking about how basically whites stole the West from the Indians with the complete, and didn't just steal it. I mean, murdered them murdered the Indians in the process, and did not give any of these benefits to African Americans for 100 years in this country. It's a strong case for reparations or some variation on it, for rebuilding our cities, for doing right after having done wrong for so many centuries. It is a very, very strong case for that.
Now think about that as we say, Martin Luther King 4-3! Imagine if we as African Americans put as much emphasis around supporting the people who are on the dream team for reparations now, reparations forever, as we put into cheering for athletes. We would have reparations now for our ancestry and going forward. There's not one descendant of child of slavery that owns an NBA, a Major League Baseball, or NFL team. But we keep going to the games and we cheer touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. And I love championing for reparations with Big C Sports Podcast. And I love doing it. As I always tell you, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink, because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off, but don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car and start drinking after they've been driving. The last we say, maybe your own. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that crap on their own. If you know anybody going through that crap, pick up the phone and call 911. I only hit you because you make me mad. I only slapped you because you make me mad. I only choked you out because you make me mad. Don't put up with that crap. Pick up the phone and call 911 and let them deal with it. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. You know what time it is. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. And every time I listen to Big C Sports, I want to champion reparations now, reparations forever. And then I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. I want to make sure I pay homage to my beautiful family legacy. On my mother's side, my great-grandmothers called her Mama. My great-grandfather called him Pop. My grandmother called her Muddeer. My grandfather called him Hezekiah. And I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Better the Head Start program, a food program, and coaching all boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. The best person I ever met in my life. And then on my father's side, my grandfather, Albert Curry, my grandmother, Alberta Curry, they worked side by side. When I was 8 years old, walking to her house in Oakland, she said, there's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak. And now I'm on 29 podcast platforms and streaming on 4 TV platforms and also interviewed by the Associated Press. And I just thank God for that. Like I say, God, you know what I ask you for. It's already real in my mind. You know what I'm talking about. And I'll come to you, Lord. And Matthew 7:7, ask and you shall receive, seek you shall find, and knock and it shall be open unto you. May God say yes. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure planes can fly high so we get all stay safe at night. My beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. Always saying go forward, a voracious reader. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My good will come to me. My beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. Always trust God, Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. You can be anything you want to be. And I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. Trust God, all your heart, mind, body, and soul. Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. And then Big C, with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, always saying you got to believe. You got to believe, saying, let's get ready to rumble. I love to say welcome to the show. As we nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no three-way teleprompter. I have no producer in my ear. But I do want to sound, I want to sound more black. As somebody told me down at Oracle, could you sound more black? What a crazy world. Well, how about this? Could you sound like President Abraham Lincoln when he says sign reparations now? Sign reparations forever. Come on, say it. Cheer it loud like you cheered for Denver's win and the Knicks win last night. Sign reparations now. Sign reparations forever. Come on, say it like your team just won the game. The same way you're going to scream when we get reparations. You want to sign reparations now? Sign reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.